Well, old car won't start. So did some research, figured out just need to replace this fuel filter and fuel pump. Trouble is, gotta go under here. Pull this down. Full of gas. Should be fun. Wish me luck. Ready to go. Back here with Mike's Mustang Repairs, and today we're talking through fuel pump replacement, and we're also going to do the fuel filter. So here's the tools that we'll need and we'll be using in the job. So have a big jack to lift the car up, get access underneath to the fuel tank and the fuel pump, jack stands to support the car, socket set. If you're doing this job, you'll have all you need: sockets, wrenches, all that, but we did use the socket set, and then a flathead screwdriver. We ordered the BBK high performance fuel pump. We did this because it was one piece and we didn't have to assemble it. It just popped out the old one, pop in the new one. So this is the fuel pump that we got. And then we also got a new fuel filter. Chose the K&N one. Doesn't matter what brand you use, but we're gonna be replacing that as well. Then we made this board thing, right? And we're gonna use this to support the fuel tank as we're dropping it. And what it is basically just a 2x4, excess 2x4 we had, and a small piece of plywood. The fuel tank was full of gas, so we're gonna need to drop that in a safe manner. So we'll use this jack as well and just work down slowly as you're dropping it. And then a special thing you might not have, fuel removal tool. Comes in, I got this from Amazon. There's two different sizes, but just use the one that fits. And then safety glasses, because you'll be working under the fuel tank, removing fuel lines. They'll be full of gas. You don't want to get it in your eyes. So these are the key pieces we'll be using. So we had a variety of codes come up. The key one here is the 0171. That indicated low fuel pressure. We also had the 0301 and 0306, which indicated engine misfires. That's how we knew that the fuel pump needed to be replaced. They all, we had 11 codes in total. They all triangulated to this fuel pump issue. As a safety precaution, go ahead and disconnect the battery, and then there's a fuel pump switch in the rear in the trunk of the car. You'll see it in the back. So the first step is to remove the 3 bolts around the gas nozzle intake. You can see those there. Then what you're going to do is work your way around the fuel tank underneath, removing all of the hoses and electrical connections. So disconnect it so you'll have full access to the tank. I think there's about 5 or 6, and you just work your way around, make sure nothing is connected. So there's 3 bolts and 1 fixed strap that hold the fuel tank to the frame. You can see the bolt here. I worked my way from the front of the car, so there's 1 up there and then 2 in the rear. I unbolted those and then used this jack stand to hold it up as I was unbolting it. Once I had the fuel tank lowered, I only lowered one side. I kept the other side higher. That allowed me to keep the fuel filler line connected. There'll be 6 bolts on top of the fuel pump. You'll need to remove each of those, and then you're going to pry it free with a flathead screwdriver. Before I pulled the fuel pump out, I did vacuum the top, just make sure no debris came out, and then I did empty out the gas and make sure the fuel tank was clean on the inside. 2 clips on the side of the fuel pump. Pinch those in. You can pull the fuel pump out, and then in reverse order, go ahead and reconstruct the car, starting with the fuel pump, pull the fuel tank up, connect all the wires and hoses, and replace the fuel filter. As you can see here, I finished it up and I had no codes running. I had emptied the tank, and so I put in half a gallon to get to the gas station, and then you can see I filled up 13.2, so really had that tank empty. I think spec is 14 total, so crazy. The job took about 3 hours to complete. It wasn't too tricky. I do think it could be very tricky if your fuel tank was rusted and rusted to the frame, but I didn't run into any issues, and honestly, quite a rewarding job to do. So see you next week.